Good evening, and thank you all for joining us for Jewish Family Services 2020 annual meeting. While things may look slightly different this year, the staff and board of directors of JFS is still very excited to share lots of exciting news and updates with you. So why don't we dive right in? I will turn it over to John Yapps, President and CEO of Jewish Family Services.
Shalom and good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking you for joining us tonight. While it is disappointing that we aren't looking out at your smiling faces, I'm glad we're still connected, even if it is through a screen. I'd also like to thank our board of directors, donors, volunteers, staff, and community partners for your support of our mission and services every day, but especially through the COVID-19 pandemic. When we all left our meeting last year, I don't think anyone could have imagined the changes we'd be facing just a few short months later. While our building doors may have closed, we've never stopped providing vital services and essential support to our clients and community. In what now feels like the blink of an eye, we shifted appointments and visits from in-person to virtual, relocated our team members to their homes, and tackled the ever-changing landscape of guidelines and recommendations, always keeping the safety of our staff, their families, and those we serve top of mind. Through it all, our board members, staff, and volunteers have continued to perform their duties with the utmost determination, commitment, and dedication. We, like many of you, are working towards our new normal. Our clinic, which continues to serve clients virtually, has recently reopened on a limited basis. Our social services for Russian speakers and Holocaust survivor services, family care, and case management programs are resuming in-person visits. So, gradually, we are finding a new rhythm in which to maintain our commitment to service. Plans are being developed for new and engaging programming at both Deerwood Crossing Senior Residences and Bradley Crossing, and other programs, including the Jewish Community Case Manager, Late Life Counseling, and J-Help, continue to provide many types of assistance and support to those that need it most. Now, despite that Zoom fatigue you're feeling, I hope you'll relax and join me for the exciting news we have to share with you, including highlights from the last year, our board leadership for the 2021 fiscal year, and a picture of our financial standing. In the end, we hope you'll come away with a sense of how our mission impacts thousands of individuals in our community and how critical your support is to the work we do every day.
Thank you, John. Now to recognize a group of individuals whose role has drastically changed over the past 12 months. I welcome Krista Schlitz, Special Events and Volunteer Services Manager, to recognize the many loyal and committed volunteers who donate their time and talents to JFS.
Thanks, Jane. As some of you may know, in April of this year, I stepped into my role as a Special Events and Volunteer Services Manager. Yes, some people thought I was crazy for making a career transition in the middle of a global pandemic, but I've enjoyed every second of it. I have an extensive history of working with volunteers and understand the tremendous impact they can have on an organization's success. While I've not gotten the chance to meet with all of our volunteers face-to-face just yet, I can already tell that Jewish Family Services is lucky to have some of the most dedicated and caring volunteers you could imagine. Volunteers are truly at the heart of JFS. Volunteers have been involved with the organization since its creation in 1867 and still continue to play a critical role today with opportunities that are as diverse as the people we serve. Volunteers connect with JFS clients who may be dealing with feelings of isolation or loneliness with friendly visits or phone calls. Some help tutor children with their schoolwork, work with adults to help them better understand technology, or teach people of all ages English as a second language. And that's not all. Volunteers assist at special events and help with outreach at community events. They provide hands-on support across all departments of JFS and run regular activities at JFS Housing and other community locations. Not only are the programs and tasks accomplished by our volunteers vast, the people who do them are as well. They range from our current and past board members, individuals, school groups, corporations big and small, and community partners. Here at JFS, we have the privilege of working with organizations like the United Way and the Milwaukee Jewish Federation, who share the same commitment to volunteerism that we do. Last year, our amazing volunteers contributed 1,637 hours of service. That number includes 814 direct service hours of activities like our Friendly Visitor program and workshops to promote financial literacy and healthy eating, and 823 indirect service hours from activities such as pop-up food pantries, department volunteers, and our board and committee service. While it is impossible to truly measure the value of these hours, each year, the independent sector establishes an hourly rate for volunteer services. The rate for 2019 was $25.43, which would bring our total dollar value to $41,629. While things have slowed due to COVID-19, they have not stopped by any means. Our volunteers have stepped up to the plate and made the transition to virtual and socially distant in-person activities. Volunteers are the reason we are able to offer programs such as the Friendly Collar program, and they are the driving force behind initiatives like our Feeding Family initiative. In the coming year, you will see some changes to the volunteer program here at JFS. We are in the process of making it even easier to become a volunteer, stay up to date with agency changes, and sign up for new opportunities with a brand new online volunteer site. The site will be accessible through our very own website and will provide the most up-to-date information for new, current, and even returning volunteers. On behalf of everyone at Jewish Family Services, I want to express our sincerest thanks to our volunteers. Your impact is tremendous, and you truly make a difference. You help us fulfill our mission, and we would not be able to do it without you.
Volunteers really do make a difference, especially in the nonprofit world. It's great that JFS is able to utilize them in so many ways. Next up, we'll hear from Shane Beecraft, JFS's Human Resources Manager, who will announce the recipients of a very special scholarship.
Continuing education is essential for Jewish Family Services staff to stay up to date with best practices in their individual fields and unique practice areas. The Dr. Rhoda and Edward Green Memorial Merit Scholarship Fund for Jewish Family Services staff education was created 4 years ago by longtime donors and friends of JFS, Karen and Jim Strom, with the purpose of creating a professional development program that JFS can use towards both individual and agency-wide professional and/or educational development opportunities. This Memorial Endowment Fund honors the memory of Karen's sister and brother-in-law, Dr. Rhoda and Edward Green. Champions of education and advocates for learning, Rhoda's university education was helped along with scholarships and student loans, and Ed's with the GI Bill. Rhoda first became an advertising executive, however, decided to make a career change and return to school to become a licensed business psychologist, specializing in career development. Ed studied education and became a school teacher. Both were very aware of the fact that without the financial aid they received, they probably wouldn't have been able to afford a college education, and their lives would have looked much different. Rhoda passed away in 2012, and Ed in 2013, after 50 years of marriage. Scholarships from the fund are awarded twice per year, and it is my pleasure to announce our most recent award recipients. The first recipient is Carrie Corcoran, a licensed professional counselor, certified substance abuse counselor, and program management in our comprehensive community services program that supports individuals with mental health and substance use challenges. Carrie has been in her current position for 1.5 years and will use the scholarship to attend a clinical supervision course to grow in her supervision skills to better accommodate her growing department. The seminar will delve into the supervisory process, answer questions surrounding ethical issues, risk and liability, and prepare her to deliver even more competent clinical supervision. The second recipient is Adrienne O'Neill, a licensed advanced practice social worker and clinician who works with children in our outpatient mental health clinic. Addie has been in her current position for 1 year and plans to use her scholarship to learn more about brain spotting. Brain spotting is a psychotherapy treatment method that works by identifying, processing, and releasing core neurophysiological sources of emotional body pain, trauma, dissociation, and other symptoms. The final recipient is Krista Schlitz, Special Events and Volunteer Services Manager. Krista has been in her current position for 6 months and will use her scholarship to earn the Virtual Event and Meeting Management Certificate, where she will be equipped with the knowledge and tools to successfully transfer in-person events to online virtual events. We would like to again thank Karen and Jim Strom for making these resources available to JFS and our staff.
Congratulations again to Carrie Corcoran, Adrian O'Neill, and Krista Schlitz. As Shane said, continuing education is so important to stay up to date in your field. It's wonderful that you'll all have that opportunity. Next, I'd like to welcome Olga Weinstock, JFS Board Chair, to share with us some of Jewish Family Services 2020 highlights and introduce us to the 2020-2021 Officers and Board of Directors. Then we'll hear from Herb Zine, Treasurer, with the Treasurer's Report.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to JFS Annual Meeting of 2020. This is an unusual year, and the virtual nature of our meeting is new to us. I do miss seeing you all, but hope you are safe and comfortable wherever you are right now. While I'm the current board chair, I have had many different titles here at Jewish Family Services. The first was client, when I was resettled in Milwaukee from St. Petersburg, Russia by JFS. Then staff member while working in the Employment and Career Counseling Services, and then board member since 2008. In total, I have been involved with Jewish Family Services in one way or another for almost 30 years. I have always been, and still am to this day, inspired and proud of the work that this organization is able to accomplish. I'm excited to support and enable JFS to emerge from the current challenging situation a better and stronger organization. While it may seem like the only thing you hear these days is less than ideal news, I'm here to share some good news with you tonight. Our programs and dedicated staff make a difference in the lives of so many people in our community, including individuals with disabilities, seniors and families with low household incomes, whether that can be done in person or must be done virtually. Our Jewish values of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world or making the world a better place, and tzedakah, righteousness and justice, are central to our mission and commitment to help those in need today, tomorrow, and in the future. I'm very proud to report that despite of the pandemic, our incredible leadership team and staff here at JFS continue to serve without interruption a population of clients across Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington counties, and Waukesha. Our nearly 2,500 clients represent people from a variety of backgrounds, and you can see the diversity of our client demographics on the screen. Most of the people we serve are challenged economically, with 69% living on less than $15,000 a year. We know that when someone has a disability, mental health challenges, or is aging, the condition of poverty or near poverty amplifies everyday problems. When someone faces all of those challenges, the negative outcomes associated with those conditions nearly double. The city of Milwaukee is ranked the 7th most economically distressed city in the nation, with half of its population considered distressed. Unfortunately, we can expect the situation to become even worse as a result of additional hardships brought by the pandemic. JFS is committed to not only offering quality services and programs, but also making those services and programs accessible to everyone, regardless of their financial standing. The local need for quality and accessible mental health services has never been more critical than it is today. JFS Outpatient Mental Health Clinic improves access to treatment by reducing the barriers associated with the actual cost of services, health insurance status, low household incomes, physical accessibility, language, and culture. The program helps clients heal, de-escalate trauma, reduce psychological symptoms, function more optimally in personal relationships, and attain stability. Last year, the clinic was able to serve 902 clients. Client satisfaction with our services remained consistently very high. 91% reported that overall their life was better than before coming to JFS. This past year was our first year of expanded services to survivors of domestic violence through our $1.6 million VOCA, or Victims of Crime Act, grant award. This grant allowed us to increase the capacity and maintain community partnerships designated to support survivors. As a result, we were able to serve 250 unduplicated survivors last year. We also expanded our outreach efforts through a collaboration with the Milwaukee Jewish Federation in the support role of the Shofar program. Our case management and social services programs continue to respond to issues that adversely affect the quality of life, health, and well-being of adults with developmental and cognitive disabilities, chronic mental illness, substance use disorders, and age-related disabilities. We are also able to provide services to a special population of aging adults identified as Russian immigrants. Many of these clients also carry the formal designation of Holocaust survivor. Within these programs, we serve close to 1,500 clients each year, with the satisfaction across the board consistently above 96%. Our staff offers direct contact with clients, assistance applying for government benefits, accompanies clients on medical, dental, and mental health appointments, teaches independent living skills, and provides financial assistance and management. 100% of case management clients reported improvement in their sense of well-being, and the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County's evaluation of our case management programs earned rating of exceeded expectations once again. JFS also continues to provide corporate guardianship, representative payee, and conservatorship services for adults who have no close family, who have been found unable to manage their personal and legal affairs. The Comprehensive Community Services (CCS) program continues to address the needs of individuals living with mental health disorders, substance abuse disorders, or both. We continue to coordinate services for the Milwaukee Jewish Federation's J-Help program to meet the needs of the Jewish community through social services and emergency assistance, providing nearly 100 direct service encounters to individuals and families, providing social services to residents of Habush House, Morris Surlow Senior Apartments, and Golda Meir Apartments, and delivering culturally informed services for individuals and families through the Jewish Community Case Management Program. Yet another example of the Federation's commitment to the Jewish community. Most recently, thanks to MGF, we have been able to respond quickly to the coronavirus pandemic and to get emergency food, supplies, and PPE to our most vulnerable community members through the Feeding Families initiative. Deerwood Crossing Senior Residences and Bradley Crossing, which includes the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg residences, continue to be a source of safe and affordable housing for seniors and families. In just a few moments, Dan Fleischman will share more about JFS housing with us. These are just a few of the many great things accomplished this past year. The incredible staff of Jewish Family Services is making a real difference in our community for thousands of individuals, families, and children. Now, I would like to make the transition to some of the business we conduct as part of our annual meeting. As the chair of Jewish Family Services Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to acknowledge and introduce the 2020-2021 slate of officers and directors for Jewish Family Services and Jewish Family Services Housing. The JFS slate of officers includes me, Olga Weinstock, as chair, Adam Whitko as vice chair, Herb Zion as treasurer, Jill Goldstein as secretary, and our immediate past president, Jennifer Siralski. The JFS directors are Dr. Paul Bernstein, first 3-year term, Sharon Kenter, second 3-year term, Rory Dunn, Susie Ettinger, Noah Fensroy, Kevin Geary, first 3-year term, Robert Habosh, Marjorie Lang, Mike Lappin, first 3-year term, Marlene Lavasser, Jason Levin, first 3-year term, Randy Nelson, Jason Stigman. I also want to take a moment to recognize board members whose terms have ended. We thank Pam Krieger and the Honorable Mary M. Kunmich for their years of service, time, and expertise they brought to JFS. And now, I would like to acknowledge and recognize the JFS Housing slate of officers and directors. The JFS Housing officers are Ron Ashima as chair, Nakia Spencer as vice chair, Joe Mudloff as treasurer, Phyllis Branowitz as secretary, and the JFS Housing slate of directors are Lori Biskowitz, second 3-year term, Andrea DeTora, Bonnie Joseph, Marjorie Lang, Mark Locks, first 3-year term, Sylvan Liebman, Roberta London, third 3-year term, Eileen Mesnick, Michael Moon, Dale Strattenberger, and Olga Weinstock. We also want to recognize and thank Steve Zimmerman, whose term of service has ended. And now you will hear from Herb Zion, who will give an overview of our financial position.
Good evening, everyone. Before I go into the details of how Jewish Family Services and JFS Housing performed financially this past year, I'd like to set the stage by identifying the sources of our revenue and the cost to operate our agency. The fiscal year for both JFS Housing, which is the residential and assisted living services at Deerwood Crossing, and Jewish Family Services ends on June 30th. The fiscal year for the housing properties in Brown Deer, Deerwood Crossing and Bradley Crossing, which includes the actual rental activity, ends on December 31st. I will start with our housing properties. The average occupancy of Deerwood and Bradley Crossings during calendar year 2019 was 96% and totaled $1.9 million in rental revenue. The housing properties ended the year with a $49,000 cash surplus after debt service and reserve for replacement expenses. So these properties are paying their way and then some. Meanwhile, equity is increasing and the full value will be realized when JFS has the opportunity to purchase the properties at the 15-year mark for each property, beginning with Deerwood Crossing in 2030. Now I'll report on the assisted living services at Deerwood Crossing. For fiscal year 2020, revenue was $1.2 million, with assisted living sales and client fees accounting for 88% of the total. Revenue increased $66,000 or 5.8% from fiscal year 2019, and the surplus was $174,000 in fiscal year 2020. The assisted living services operate in a highly regulated environment, and gains can slip away quickly, but we are on the right track. Now on to the financial picture for Jewish Family Services. For fiscal year 2020, total revenue was $5.3 million. Of the top four sources of revenue, 40% came from our case management contract with My Choice Family Care, 34% from charitable contributions from our community partners like the Milwaukee Jewish Federation, the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County, and other philanthropic sources. 12% from government-funded programs such as CCS and VOCA, and 14% of our revenue from service fees from our mental health clinic and other miscellaneous sources. Jewish Family Services is a nonprofit enterprise, so each year we budget to break even. This year, JFS ended the 2020 fiscal year with a $24,000 surplus. With 80 employees, it should come as no surprise that the largest costs were wages and benefits, which comprised 84% of the agency's total expenses. It is important to remember that, due to the many uncertainties stemming from the coronavirus pandemic, obtaining future charitable contributions will be more challenging. The revenue payments from government agencies are intermittent, and it is always necessary to invest in capital improvements for building maintenance and technology needs. JFS has an important mission, and we can't fulfill it out without your ongoing financial support.
Thank you for those updates, Olga and Herb. JFS has had a busy and remarkable past year. Next, we'll hear from Dan Fleischman, Vice President of Housing and Residential Services.
This year marks the 10th anniversary of Deerwood Crossing. It's hard to believe that just 10 years ago, JFS took action to meet the urgent need for affordable housing for seniors, persons with disabilities, and families in Milwaukee County. Deerwood Crossing is a unique housing model. We have 100 units of housing for seniors as well as assisted living. This is a unique model in that nearly all of our revenue comes from Medicaid sources. Bradley Crossing, just across the street, is another model that is unique in Milwaukee County in that half of the units are reserved for households with a member with a disability. This includes persons with physical disabilities, mental illness, as well as intellectual disabilities. Overall, we provide housing to 350 persons on our campus here in Brown Deer, including 100 youth. It has always been our goal to build community and opportunity for our residents beyond the bricks and mortar of the buildings. Through our campus integration program, we offer social engagement, social services support, and educational programs to promote self-determination, full inclusion, and participation of persons of all abilities. Through the program, we are able to provide on-site activities, such as our wellness circles, facilitated by staff who encourage and empower residents to assess their own wellness, educational workshops promoting financial literacy and healthy eating, a youth art and science club where children can engage in after-school projects to make learning more hands-on, teen programming to help residents focus on self-esteem building, creating positive relationships, and establishing healthy boundaries, and intergenerational programming that brought youth to Deerwood Crossing to participate in weekly arts and movement programming with our seniors. Last year, 86% of our residents reported satisfaction with the activities and programming provided. In addition, our staff help residents to solve issues that impact their ability to live independently and connect them to resources for additional benefits, like energy assistance, food pantries, tutoring, and other support programs. While COVID-19 put a stop to most of our group activities, we remain committed to serving our residents. Our staff never stopped providing one-on-one visits to help address the needs, concerns, and fears of our residents. In a time when social connection was even more challenging than usual, we were able to set residents up with tablets to stay in touch with friends and family. When the shelves of grocery stores were bare, we organized an emergency food drive. The response from donors was so tremendous that we had enough funds to provide 2 weeks of food for every household through multiple distributions. Through a local partnership with the Medical College of Wisconsin, we were able to provide free coronavirus testing to the residents right within their buildings. And thanks to another local partner, Tikkun Ha'ir, all of our residents received friendly check-in calls. At JFS, we believe that stable and secure housing is the foundation for the well-being of all people, regardless of income, race, age, religion, or disability. And nearly 10 years into JFS Housing, our goal remains the same as it was when we opened our first building: to create a model affordable housing community where adults and children, with and without disabilities, can live together, build a strong sense of community, and receive the support and care that they need. We would like to thank all of our supporters, including our donors, our board of directors, and our volunteers who make this all happen. Now, I would like to welcome Colleen Kelly, whose mother, Jackie, lived at Deerwood Crossing until she just passed away recently.
In finding a new place for my mother to live in assisted living, there were several very important objectives that we were looking for. My son and I wanted to find a place that was very inviting. So the atmosphere for us was a big, important factor. Also, the staff. Were they upbeat, outgoing, talkative, willing to have a conversation with somebody? And then thirdly, the residents. You know, you can tell a lot about a place when you walk in. I looked at a lot of assisted living facilities in the Milwaukee area and even outside of the Milwaukee area for her. And I wanted to see residents that looked happy and were talkative and, you know, happy people, because I didn't want her coming to a place that just was kind of dark and depressing. So it's a big life change. So was very important to us. The reason my son and I chose Deerwood Crossing was from the moment I called, I spoke with Stacy and indicated to her that I needed to find a place fairly quickly for my mom. And so she said they had 2 openings for 2 different apartments. So when I came, Stacy met me. She knew the situation with my mom in the fall and that she was in a nursing home and that we needed to find a place within a day or 2. My mother was fighting at this point now going to assisted living from the nursing home because she was better. So I knew that it had to be the perfect place. So when I came and spoke with Stacy, she showed me the apartment that my mother ultimately moved into. And it was just bright and sunny, and Stacy was so wonderful, showed me everything. I met some of the residents that were in the lobby. I think sometimes you just know that it's the right place, kind of like when you go to buy a home. I guess I always look to where's the Christmas tree gonna look the best, which is kind of a silly way to buy a home, but where was my mom gonna have the most sunlight? And also there was a balcony, which was very important because I wanted her to be able to get outside somewhere close if she couldn't use her walker really well during a certain day or something. Also the fact that she had the option here at Deerwood, as much assistance as she needed, or not have any assistance, just have it be there if there were an emergency. And for me, I wanted her to have the assistance. She wanted to not be assisted. So it was just a very perfect fit for us. When my mom's situation changed, she had been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which had metastasized throughout her body. She decided to go through the chemo treatments. Some of the things that Deerwood did for us that went above and beyond the scope of what any nursing home or assisted living did for my mom and myself through those 4 months was amazing. I can't imagine any other place would have taken care of her the way that the staff did here. There are certain things that assisted living aides do, and there are things that nursing home aides do. And for my mom, because it was terminal, we knew it was only going to be a few months or 5 or 6 months at the most that she was going to live. they took extra care. Some of the aides would go in after their shift at night and sit with her in bed and make sure that she was okay. Some of the aides would get off their shift. She loved to watch the Brewers and the Packers and basketball, so that they would go in and this was even before she had cancer. Some of them would go in after their shift and watch games with her and keep her company. I've talked to a lot of people who have parents or grandparents in assisted living, and they've never heard of that. She became very close to a lot of the aides and all of the staff here, to be honest with you. So while her health situation changed dramatically, the care actually didn't change all that much. It still stepped up. It just became more. And I think they were all very emotional about it. And since her death, they have been absolutely wonderful to me as getting through this grieving process, which is certainly not the job of assisted living staff. But I think it just is a testament to how Deerwood Crossing as a whole, in all of their areas of care, take care of the entire family, not just the member that is living there.
I want to thank each and every one of you very much for taking the time to join us tonight. To all of you tuning in tonight, we deeply appreciate your support and generosity during these challenging times and your ongoing commitment to our mission and services. Please stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
This concludes Jewish Family Services 2020 annual meeting. To learn more about Jewish Family Services and the many ways that you can become more involved in their mission to nearly 2,500 individuals in the Greater Milwaukee area, visit their website at www.jfsmilw.org. Have a good night and be well.